If you've ever thought about buying a business for cash flow and long term financial growth, but always got overwhelmed by where to start or whether it was really worth it, today's episode will convince you to start shopping. What if I told you you could buy a business that doesn't require huge upfront investment, lets you trade your experience for equity, and allows you to build big profits with monthly cash flow? I'm Tamar Hermes, and this is the Women Growing Wealth podcast. My guest today is DeAnna Rogers, an entrepreneur who owns multiple businesses and spent over a decade partnering with marketing giants Roland, Frasier, and Deiss. She's going to show you how to acquire a business, even if you've never run one, and the mindset shifts you need to open your door to real wealth. Today, DeAnna owns several businesses and continues to buy a lot more. She plays the game like most women would never dream was possible, convincing me, and likely you too, that it doesn't need to be so darn hard. If you're ready to make, invest, and keep more money buying businesses, listen up. You're in for a wild ride. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Growing Wealth podcast, where we learn how to invest, make, keep more money the women's way. And today is especially exciting because one of the many aspects of building wealth has to do with building business. And my friend DeAnna Rogers is here to share with us so many ideas of success and stories and how to's, so that we can actually learn how we can also expand our businesses, our growth, our mindset, our wealth. And thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here today.
You are so amazing. And DeAnna and I met at a mastermind where we're all building businesses and growing. And what I found so incredible about DeAnna is that she hasn't just built one business; she's built several businesses. She's bought several businesses. She's partnered with the top names in the industry, and she does it all so humbly and with so much ease. DeAnna, tell me, where did this ability begin?
Well, I will have to honestly say, I learned it from my business partner, Roland Frasier. He has been doing this for 40 something years. He's a business partner with him and Deiss. And I've had the extreme pleasure of working with Roland for probably 17 years now. And about 6 years ago, 5.5, almost 6 years ago, Roland decided we were going to start teaching this. And Roland's been doing this himself like for years. And then he started teaching it out to other people. And he asked me one day, he was like, D, why aren't you doing this? And I'm like, I'm not you. He's like, no, you're you. Like, you need to do this in your voice, in your way. And that really struck a chord with me. Because I'm like, I've had my one business, but I hadn't really thought of going out and buying multiples and building a portfolio. Like, to me, that just, or creating, I would always give away like free value, right? Like, that's what women do, right? Like, we all want to like help and support and give out free value. And I never realized that my time was worth something until I realized, oh, I could do consulting for equity, or I could acquire the business, or I can do all these things. And so my world just opened up like 5.5, almost 6 years ago. And now it's just been a game changer for my family.
Amazing, amazing. And before, you were also had a huge events company. You were doing events for 7,000 plus people, which is not a small feat. So you already had this amazing capacity. I'm just wondering, I'm going to back up a little bit before, because I really want to dive into all the things that you know about business and all the things that you do right now, and equity for business, all these ideas that women can use to grow wealth that they probably have sitting at their fingertips, just like you. Like, we'll do it our way, not
Right.
Roland's way, but our way. We all have our individual way of doing it. But when you were growing up, did you have a lot of confidence? I mean, because honestly, when I think of some of the things you've done, I think it had to have come from somewhere to be able to have that ability.
So no, I did not. Actually, if y'all want to know a really true, like, I don't think I've ever said this actually. So you're pulling some stuff out of me. This is like the raw moment.
Let's do it.
I don't think I ever did it. Up until I was in ninth grade, I was so shy that I used to put my hand over my mouth when I talked in school because I was afraid of people seeing my face. No lie. My pictures in school always had my hand in front of my face. Always. My mother would always say, take your hand down, take your hand down. I always had my hand in front of my face. I didn't want people to see me. I was always invisible. And in high school, I kind of started going out of that. And it was so bizarre that I didn't want to be seen. Um, and then what was really funny is, I became a mom, and being a mom is like the best thing in the world, right? You just come out of your shell, things become natural, and I had three amazing boys. About 9 years later, I went through this awful thing called a divorce, right? And so you have to get strong really quick, right? I was gonna be a single mom with three boys. And then you know what? Let's just throw another little curveball. Let's get stage 4 cancer, why don't you? While you're doing all that, right? And so what was really a blessing was I got really strong during those 5 years. And I just realized I could do it. And I think that is absolutely the reason why I'm so determined now. Like, I'm like, I went through all that. I'm good. Throw it at me. Throw those rocks at me. I don't care. Like, because if you can go through that and overcome, you can overcome anything. And I just realized life's too short. So you just take action. And I think that has just been such a game changer for me, was just going through those things that were so awful at the time have actually been what has been so wonderful for me at the same time. Does that make sense?
So good. And this theme keeps coming up for me. Just for some reason, I decided to start diving into Kabbalah, and it's the Jewish mysticism, but it also is a study of really how do we walk through the world and what is our reason for being here. And they talk a lot about the dark and the light, and that exactly like you just shared, which is that when you get all this darkness, there's light on the other side. If you can
Mhm.
believe that you're having this for a reason, it sounds like it created this extreme resilience in you. Is that when you started your events company?
No, so what's funny is I will say it went back to my doctor when I was labeled cancer as a cancer patient. My doctor that I was looking at was like, you can be my patient, but you can never cry. And I just remember thinking, you have the bedside manners of a really mean man. Like, I just thought you should not be a doctor, right? And I went home and I cried, and then I was like, no, but he's the best. And so I went back the next day and I'm like, I'm ready. Like, you're not going to tell me I can't be your patient. Like, that made me mad, right? And he's
Mhm.
like, you cannot cry. Like, you can't fight, you can't give up. You have to be a fighter. And I
Mm.
realized that he was pulling that out of me so that I could fight for the biggest fight of my life. And he was the best doctor I have ever had. And it really just brought something out in me. And what was really great was I had a daycare. My very first business was a daycare for 13 years so I could be a stay-at-home mom with my children, and it grew and it was great. And then from there I went into an event business, and it was a small business. And then I started a mastermind, and I had like 200 people in my mastermind. That's where I met Roland Frasier. And so it grew. And then when Roland said, hey, I'm partnering with Ryan Deiss, and we've got this little event called Trafficking Conversion Summit, and we would like you to come and run events and do events with us. And of course I said yes. And so, like, it was just the path. And I'll tell you, it catapulted things for me. And I learned things that I never had experienced. And I got to meet people and get partnerships with people I never would have had before. But it all started from just being in the right room, never saying no, and never crying, and just being strong regardless of what happens, right? So I bring it all back to my doctor because he's what changed my mindset at that time.
I love that. And I hope any woman that's listening, regardless of whatever their challenges you are, whatever questions you have, or whatever thing is going on, that you realize that we can really continue to build if we are resilient and open. And then it sounds like almost like you called in these guys for my listeners that don't know who Roland Frasier and Ryan Deiss are. They're two of the preeminent business owners, in the country, and DeAnna has partnered with them and done a lot of amazing work with them. So, what a great lesson! What a great way to start.
Thank you.
Let's wind back. I want women to leave this podcast episode understanding that buying businesses is something that we all can do. And I know we've got Cody Sanchez is out helping everyone, and your group of course does this as well, and you've been doing it probably for, like you said, Roland was doing it forever, and probably before Cody was born. and
Yes.
And so I'd love to hear when there's a couple aspects to the business that to Epic and what you do, which is one is the equity, doing work for equity, and getting equity in the businesses, and two is buying the businesses. I'd love for you to talk about how, if someone's listening right now and they're thinking, okay, I want to expand, or I want to grow, or I don't want to be in my high income W-2, I want to have a business. Where do you start?
Wow, that's like so many questions, and I have so many answers.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Okay, so let's start with the fact that you're a W-2 employee and you want to get out of that job. You want that freedom. And I think that's the key, is that, when you own your own business, you choose when you work, how you work, where you work. If you want to work on a beach, great. Like, that's great, right? Like, when you own your own business, you can do that. And so there's ways to do it where a lot of people have this notion that you have to have lots of money to acquire a business. And that's just not true. Like, it's not. You have to have the willingness to work and to be able to negotiate with a seller. There are so many businesses out there that will close their doors and shut down before they realize that they could sell. And there are ways to get into a business like that with seller financing. So it's just a matter of finding them and fishing. So you're out there fishing for these opportunities and then leveraging the ability to be able to say, hey, I would like to be able to keep your business alive, but this is how I'm going to do that. And so there is standard M&A, which is mergers and acquisitions. And there's also the other side of it, which is like consulting for equity. And here I want to give you an example. I was literally at a festival last week, and this is where I say there's so many people. I was at a festival, and this guy was at a snow cone machine, like stand, right? And he was like, yeah, he said, I saw on Facebook, you're acquiring businesses. It's good seeing you. He goes, I have this friend of mine that has a pet grooming company, and she's shutting down because she's getting older, and she's had it for 35 years. And I said, well, how much is she doing? He's like, I don't know. I think she's doing like 400,000 or 500,000 a year. So it's a little small business. And I'm like, yeah, but for a small operation, that's still pretty good. I go, what is she going to do with it? Is she going to sell it? He's like, no, she's just going to shut it down. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me talk to her. Like, oh, hold on. Right. Whereas most people would just like, oh, that was a great conversation, and they keep moving on. Like, that is an opportunity. And I think when you start letting people know that, hi, my name is DeAnna. I'm an investor. I invest in businesses. When you start letting people know who and what you are, doors open for you that you would never have had before. So like for this grooming business, this lady was simply going to shut a door and close her business, when instead, why not let somebody buy that business, do seller financing, let that lovely lady continue to make money on something that she built for years and is her passion. And now you get to get into a business that is cash flowing with seller financing. $0 out of pocket. You own a business. She makes money. You make money. It's a win-win. So like when you start explaining that to people, that there's these opportunities out there, like it just opens up a whole new world for people that had no idea that that could even happen. And now I want to talk about consulting for equity. People don't realize what that is, right? That is, I tell people it is called, I'm a strategic growth partner. I want to go in and I want to help you grow your business. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to come in, and what we used to, women, we're so good at this. We're so good at talking and giving our opinion on everything, and we do it for free because we want to help. You know what? Now that's called being a strategic growth partner. I'm going to help you grow your business, but the way I do that is called consulting for equity. So I'm going to do it with XYZ. We're going to do it with a 10-10-10, where it's $10,000 a month or 10% profitability, whichever is greater, and 10% equity. You instantly got equity in a business by consulting for the stuff that you were already doing for free by just giving advice to your friend. Now you have equity in the business. So I say that because women, we are so good at just giving, giving, giving. And instead, now you can use that to acquire a business. And how magical is that? Right?
So good. Amazing. Now let's say you have this was all so good. I was thinking of several of my clients just then thinking, "Oh, they can make so much money doing that on part of the challenge of course is that most women that listen to the podcast, they're already either own businesses and they're pretty entrenched in it, or they're high income W-2s and a lot of their time is taken up. And what you're saying is to pay attention to new opportunities. If you want those opportunities, they are out there, that you don't need to necessarily even be pounding the pavement that hard, that they're everywhere. Like if you have an interest in dogs, or you like dental practices. One of my clients is a pediatric dentist and she likes to buy those businesses, but the consulting for equity is something that maybe she hadn't heard of, and she has 60 employees and could certainly do something like that. And I know she probably does give away a lot of knowledge for free. So there's so many ways in which we can make this work for ourselves. I love this.
Well, here's the other thing that we didn't even talk about, and this could be like another whole podcast, right? Like, here's what about like a bolt-on business? So all of you ladies watching and listening to this, you have let's say you have an existing business, like a dentist business, like, right? A dentist practice. What about a bolt-on business? Or what about a roll-up where you go and acquire other dentist practices and you roll it up under yours, and you have 2, 3, 4, 5 dentist practices right under your brand? My husband and I and my son are doing that now with automotive shops. We acquired the first one, got it. Now we're acquiring the second. We signed the paperwork on the second one yesterday, right? So like, and we're rolling that up under the brand, and then we'll do it again and again and again. Guess what? I know nothing about automotive shops, nothing. But I know that I can roll them up and make more money, because more means more, right? And then when you want to go sell it later in 5-10 years, you're going to have a higher exit multiple because you have 5 or 10 businesses instead of just one. So that dentist that wants to go and do a roll up, he or she can go and acquire more dental practices under theirs. Or here's the other side. It could be a bolt-on. Think about all the people that you pay money to as a business owner. Marketing. Well, instead of paying them an agency fee, why don't you acquire the agency? Why don't you acquire that business? And now it's a bolt-on to your business. If you have a media company, acquire it, right? Like if you have a manufacturing company, acquire it. Like rather than paying them, you own that. And that's a bolt-on to your existing business for whatever your business is.
It's such a mindset shift, because what's coming to me in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this is great. This is great. This is great. And then there's a little part of me, that woman part of me, that's like, well, I don't know how to do that. Can I really do that? And I'm sure that there's other women listening, especially women that have been in the W-2 world. Maybe they're doctors or attorneys, and they're working for a paycheck even though it's a handsome paycheck, it's still getting used to that feeling of having money come in and then breaking out and doing this on your own. And when you talk about it, DeAnna, I'm just like fired up. I want to go out and like every store and buy like 80 companies. And realistically, I know that there's something that stops women from seeing their capacity in this. And I know we started out talking about mindset, but where can they start? Let's say you're saying it's everywhere, but let's say I do meet someone and they're interested, but I'm starting to get that little voice in my head that's saying, what am I going to offer them? Like, can I really do this? And where do I go from there?
It is mindset. And you're right. It truly, truly is. I think you should always start with, here's how I start it. Like I start with partnerships, right? Like to me, it's always more fun doing it with somebody else versus doing it alone. And women, we are communal. we are a communal herd, are we not? Like we want to do stuff with other people. Like we like that community.
We love it.
So yeah, as because that's what we're good at, right? So to me, it is like, okay, if I'm talking, and you know who's got the best, I'll tell you, my hairdresser and my dentist are the two people that give me the most leads because they know everybody. They talk to everybody. Yeah, right?
It's great.
Because
That's
so
great.
my hairdresser will say, "Oh, did you talk to so and so? I need to connect you with so and so. She's looking to exit her business or whatever." What if I don't know anything about it? I could say, "Who in my sister friends knows a lot about this? Why don't me and her go partner together and do it together?" It's much more fun when you do it with someone else, less liability because it's you're spreading the work between the two of you, and you're taking someone that's got that mindset, that skill, that can actually do it, like for example dentist, or let's say, here's a really really good example. There is a deal in roofing that I'm currently working on. I know nothing about roofing, but my friend Jalitza does. She has a company in Dallas. So I texted her, I was like, "Hey girl, what if we did this roofing deal together?" And she's like, "Oh, sister, let's do it." Right. So like now we're working on some roofing opportunities together. Much more fun doing it with someone else. I know nothing about roofing, but I can go find deals and still bring them, and her and I do them together, and it's much more fun. So my answer to what you originally asked me is yes, it is mindset, but also, if you have a little doubt, find someone to do it with you. And it's much more fun, right?
It's a great answer. I love that. I love that. Now, what about when things go awry? Because the other thing that would hold somebody back from buying businesses is they don't want another job. Just like in real estate, people always say to me, "Well, I don't want to clean toilets." What do you say to that? Because one of the things that holds me back from buying a bunch of businesses is the idea that, well, if the operator's out, then I'm the operator. And granted, that's just, for that may not be true. But oh yeah, it is true. Right. Yep. I love that. I even have a friend who actually was looking at a company that had to do with fixing airplanes. And he
Hmm.
actually was waiting to buy the business because he said it's not enough for just one operator to be able to understand how to run these airplanes. I need at least two people because if that guy goes out, then my whole business can go down. And then you're talking big dollars. There's a high profit. But so he was even looking for two people and didn't want to buy it until two people knew how to run it. What's interesting to me too is that what I don't hear is that it matters to you what kind of business it is, and
No.
that's one of the things I really love because I think a lot of people, a lot of women can get stuck in. Well, I'm not sure I would enjoy that owning that kind of business, and it sounds like what I love about when you talk about businesses, it's business. It's just the fun of the business. And it doesn't even matter what it is. And you're just supporting the operators and everyone to win inside and servicing the customers and growing it. And that's kind of where the joy is. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, and I actually think it expands me. So it's almost like the chase. I like doing something I've never done before. So it's like, oh, wow, this is great. Let me try this. Right. So I kind of get a mental high on doing something I've never done before. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, here's a great example. Do I look like I know anything about an auto shop? No, I don't. Like, I don't even remember what like, I know what a wrench is, but I always have to ask what the two and the four prong, screwdriver is. Like, it is a thing, but I own now two automotive shops. I didn't, but I know how to but now I'm learning and I'm learning the process, but I have operators in place, right? My son is running the company. And that's now giving generational wealth to my family, right? So now my son, we've given him a partnership in it. He's running that. My husband is involved in it. Like it becomes a really great family opportunity and I'm learning something and I love that. I love learning something new. Like I'm exploring something in HVAC right now. I know nothing about HVAC, but I'm like, let's go, let's figure it out. Let's learn this. Like let's do something. To me, I don't necessarily want to do everything in my zone of genius. I want to do something that's going to make me expand and make money. And so that's what I look for.
I love that. I love that. And how do you know when you're ready to exit a company? Because this is another thing that comes up a lot. And, I have several clients that have built very successful companies, or sometimes they buy them and they grow them. And at what point do you start looking at that?
Well, I would say when you start getting burned out, you should really start looking at that exit because you really should. Like when you've lost that passion, then let's start figuring that out because you should not do something if you don't love it. Like that's truly what it needs to boil down to, right? Or if you're like, hey, this is like my time period. Like in 2 years, I want to spend all my time with my grandchildren. Okay, then now you know. Like 2 years is the marker, right? My husband and I have put a 10-year limit on ours. We're building up our portfolios to where in 10 years we are done. We're gonna either sell or the operators run it and it's just cash flow. We don't, but we are no longer gonna be in it. We've just made that rule, right? And
I love
so
that.
we know. But like for example, if you are a dentist and you're just really burned out and you don't like going to work every day, then there's probably time, right? Like you should love what you do, or you should then turn around and sell it. And now, if you decided, okay, I'm burned out, then get your business exit ready, right? So that it can exit for a higher multiple, so that you can make the money that you've worked so hard to get to. Like that's important as well. So just identify what's important to you. And then the other side of it can be, Tamara, is that maybe you find a partner, a growth partner that then does it. And then you kind of still get to keep it and get the money from it, but someone else is running that day to day. That could be the other side of it. Is just learning when to let go and sell it or getting a partner to grow it for you.
I love that. I love that. Now, when you're buying a business, what sort of profit margins are you looking for? Because it sounds like you can kind of make a deal anywhere. Obviously, if you need to make sure that the business is profitable or is viable to add income in, and that's based on what you'll set the price at. So, what are you looking for?
There's not a magical number. It depends on the niche of like what if we're going for a one multiple versus a three or four multiple on something. So like my husband and I actually have a bookkeeping academy company as well as one of our companies. And so when we're looking at bookkeeping businesses to roll up, we're looking at a 1 to 2x multiple. So if it's doing really well, then we'll look at that. But then we also have to realize most bookkeepers are solopreneurs. So then that becomes a problem because then we'd have to hire someone. So that is a different expectation versus an auto shop, which has 4, 5, 6 employees and has an operator. My numbers are going to be a lot different on that one because it runs on its own and I don't have to worry about it. And I'm just, making sure that it's cash flowing. So everyone's a little different. There's not a magical formula. Um, I just look to see, is it cash flowing and does it have an operator? It must have 3 to 5 employees, must be in business at least 5 years. I don't do any startups. I don't even touch a startup. Like that's just too much work, right? And those are kind of my perimeters. I have very little perimeters. I'll look at anything if it makes money.
Amazing, amazing. I love it. It's so exciting because it really opens up. I hope every woman that's listening realizes, "Oh my gosh, like I can buy a business." Like this is not that far-fetched. And granted, we listen to other people talking about it, and they make it sound so easy, and of course the first time is maybe a little more challenging, and that's how we get to the other side. It's the same thing with real estate and your first deal, and the same concept. I love that. Now, when you're negotiating, I know obviously you're listening to the seller and what they need. And I love the fact that you want to keep them happy and keep them earning some cash flow while they're selling their company. They were just going to shut it down. So now basically you're keeping it going for them and then they're
Right.
getting income. So is there anything that you're looking for in terms of the negotiations?
Well, I mean, there's like the automotive shops, we're doing SBA loans. So those are different. Those are just flat out M&As, right? Like, so we're just acquiring them and we're doing that. There's several companies that I've gone into and I've had a 50% equity given to me with $0 out of pocket. Like, just given me half the company. But then I go in and I get an operator and we run it. And the idea is in 3 to 5 years, we're going to exit it and we're both going to make a lot of money. And that person literally stepped out, like what I just said. They were burned out and they were ready to close their doors. And I said, give me 50% and we'll run it. And you become the founder. And that's exactly what that person did. And we ran it and we are still running it. And we are making money on that company. And we're pulling out an additional 20,000 plus a month out of that company that was going to fold. Right. So like that, there's opportunities like that all the time out there. You just don't realize it until you say, hi, my name is DeAnna. I'm an investor. When people know that you're an investor, they will open doors and share. Oh, I know somebody that's going to sell. I know someone down the street. Oh, my neighbor. Oh, the person I play pickleball with. Oh, da da da. Like everyone knows somebody. Like, so once they know that you are wanting to invest in a business or that you can help grow a business, everyone knows somebody. And then they spread the word for you. It's really, it's that game of telephone. Everyone kind of talks for you, right? And then the other thing is, a lot of CFEs, I've come into the place where people would say, hey, Deanna, I want to chat with you and I want to pick your brain. Like, oh, that sounds painful. Please don't pick my
Yeah.
brain.
Pick
Um,
your brain. That's a tough
right,
one.
right. And so I used to do that all the time. Like I would just go hours and hours and help somebody and I'd go to lunch and then later it's like 10 meetings later and I helped them grow their business and I got $0 out of that. And I did it because I loved people and I just wanted to help. And don't we all just want to help? We just want to help and we just do it. And then I realized, I could get something for that. I'm worth that. My value is worth that. And so then I started doing it where, I do that in the way of a consulting agreement, or let me do a private consult with you and I'll help you. And my private consult's going to be this. Maybe it's 5,000, maybe it's 10,000, whatever it is. And I will help you and I help you with that. And, and I realized I had value and then it changed the game for me. My time is valuable. And so when you can say that to yourself in the mirror and say that to other people, it changes the game and they no longer want to pick your brain, right?
I love that. One of the things when I had asked you about the podcast, I said, is there a question that you wish that you ever got asked on a podcast? And you said, know your why. And I thought that was really a great, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to share that because it's something we hear a lot. And I'm also hearing through everything that you're sharing that it's at a different level, that it's not only just about knowing your why, but you've actually executed on knowing your why.
So my why, it changes, right? So identifying your why through your journey. Your journey is different. So my journey 15 years ago was different. My why was just to get through to where my youngest was an adult, so that way if I had to leave this earth, they were fine. My 3 boys were fine. So that was my why, was providing for them, getting through to where I could pay the bills and go to my doctor's appointments and make sure my boys were fine. That was my why. My why now is I have 3 adult boys. They're 33, 30, and 27, and I've got 5 grandchildren. I'm a Mimi, not a grandma. I'm too young to be a grandma, but I'm a Mimi, and my why is my grandchildren. My why, great example. Last week, my granddaughter said, Mimi, I want to go on this tea time. I saw it was on Facebook and I looked it up and there was one that afternoon. And so guess what? Mimi stopped what she was doing and we went and had tea in Austin, right? Like that's my why. My why is that I want to be able to do those things with my grandchildren. And so they remember me when I'm not here. The other thing is I've had the extreme pleasure of being a business partner with Damon John, and that came about 4 years ago. And one of the things he did is when he wrote a book with his daughter, he was like, I want her to learn how to grow and to earn things and not just be given things. And so she wrote this beautiful book, and so I was talking to my granddaughter about writing a book, and she was like, oh, Mimi, I want to write a book. And I was like, so we had gone to her school and had donated Damon's books to the school. And she's like, and I want my book to be in the school library. And I'm like, well, then, sweetheart, if you want to do it, you can do it, young lady. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And so now she's writing a book. So my why is to give back so that my grandchildren learn that there is no limit to anything. And I want to teach them that. And I want them to remember me, and I want them to remember and have those memories when I'm gone. And so that's my why. So whatever you do, business, whatever it is, it has to fit in that box of making sure it matches your why.
I love that. How old is your granddaughter?
She's 10.
I
Yeah.
love it. So
Yeah.
good. Wow, that's so great. I love that. I wish I had a Mimi when I was young, when I was 10 to inspire me the way she has you. What a blessing.
She's my
So
mini me. I love her.
I love that. So good. So good. So, okay, getting back to now, let's say there's a woman listening and they're just burning right now because they're thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm jacked up. Deanna says I can do it. I believe I can do it. I see I can do it. Am I going locally? Am I going far away? I know I'm talking to my hairdresser. What else needs to happen in order for me to get to the next place? Am I not even thinking about I might be thinking about businesses that might be like if I like dogs, I might want to do a grooming business. So that's always something nice, or an adjacent business. Like if I have dental practices, maybe I'll buy more dental practices.
So you can also just go on, like Cody Sanchez teaches everyone, you can go on those sites like Biz Buy Sell. You can do all of that. There's not a wrong. There's not a right or a wrong. You have to find what is comfortable for you. I also found that going on your social media and just announcing to people, hey, I invest in business, I acquire businesses. Let me know if you know of anyone. Your social media is the best platform you can get to because then people share. The other thing is what people don't think of is, okay, one, your hairdresser talks to everybody, your dentist talks to everybody. So like what I call life fitting is my marketing. I don't do marketing on myself. I do life fitting. And my husband laughs. He's like, that's not even a word. I'm like, it's my word. Life fitting is my
It
word.
works.
That is
It
mine.
works for you.
Right.
All right.
And so it's talking to people, talking to my tax accountant, my accountant. She knows everybody because she does the books for everybody. So she knows who is struggling and who she should be connecting me to. My marketer that I use for one of my businesses, he's a marketing agency. I talk to him all the time because he knows everyone out there. He's the one that connected me originally to the one business that we got 50% of. And it was just because I told him, and he was like, oh, I think you should talk to so and so. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Like, right? So, like, when you start talking to people in your life and they know what you do, that life fitting just happens, right? And isn't it may not happen overnight, but then again, it could because it depends
I
on who
love
you
it.
know, right?
Absolutely. Now let's say you're so let's say you get this proposal, you get a lead, you're going into the business, maybe you're looking at it, the numbers work, it's cash flowing. What are you looking for in terms of like you might need to hire an operator? What other things are you looking for in order to grow the business? Or are you sometimes just trying to maintain it and keep it going and keep it
It
alive so that you
depends.
can
It depends on what you're acquiring, right? Like if I'm doing a bolt-on business, then it might just be that I'm acquiring it just to keep that from having to pay for that business. And now it becomes cash positive instead of cash negative, right? So
Mhm.
it depends. If I'm like for the automotive shop, we're acquiring more because we technically want to do a roll-up and sell it in 5 to 10 years. Like that's the reason why we're doing that. There so that one, just as long as it has operators or has people to run it, it's fine. For the bookkeeping company, we're acquiring more of those because those are cash flowing, right? They're easy to acquire and to get cash in the door. So I think it depends on what you're looking to do as to why that would make sense for you. But you need to make sure you have a good attorney. You're doing your due diligence, that the math makes sense, that there's no little red flags back there that you ignored. That's important, right? Like really do your due diligence on it. But to me, anything is possible. And I always think of it as I'm a problem solver. Like, I talked with this lady, I'm gonna give you an example, a couple of months ago in San Diego, and it was a husband and wife, and they want to sell their pizza shop. They've been in it 36 years. And So I'm a problem solver. I'm like, well, let me help you. I'm going to find someone that's going to acquire this pizza shop for you so you can get out. So I find that as a reward because now I'm going to problem solve for them. Like I want them to retire. I'm so happy. I love them. They're awesome people. And I'm going to find the perfect person to acquire their little shop. Right. So when you go into it with a passion and love for it, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything other than helping and supporting one another. And that's what you got to remember. Right. That's where it becomes fun.
Right. Yeah. I think that with women, especially, we get caught in doing it right and doing it well and making sure that people think we're being good people and that we're not taking advantage. And all of that mindset stuff that comes in prevents women from their capacity to build more wealth because they feel
Do it
like they're
scared.
too much space.
Yeah, do it scared. I always say do it scared because you learn more when you do it scared.
I love that. Do it scared. Do it scared. You heard it here. Do it scared. I love that. So good. So, Deanna, what am I missing? Is there anything else that we can impart to our listeners to help them grow businesses, grow wealth through buying businesses?
I think honestly, I think just start with the fact that you want to do this and start talking about it and getting into the habit of talking about it. And once you do that, it'll become natural and you'll start getting more. Start going and looking on sites, start looking on social media, get your feet wet. And then if you realize that maybe this is addictive and you want to do it, then lean into that, right? I would say just start with, hi, my name is DeAnna. I'm an investor. And just see where that goes. What's that going to hurt, right?
I
So
love that.
lean
I love
into it. And
that.
if you love it, then do it. I believe that everyone should try it. And if it's not your cup of tea, that's okay. It's all right. Or it could be, maybe you just didn't, maybe you should do it with a partner. That's the other thing, right?
Let's really quickly talk about failure because we've talked about a lot of wins and I'd love for everyone to understand that it's not always not everything comes out roses
Hmm.
and I'd love for you to share anything around that if you've had an experience or some wisdom around that.
I mean, it's not, and things are going to fail sometimes, and that's okay. You learn from your failures, and you learn not to do it again, right? And you learn from, and then that's why we share. That's our community shares when there's failures. I've learned more from people that have shared from the real raw of don't do this than I have from all the people that brag about all the things that they do, right? So I think that that's the key. And then surrounding yourself with other people that'll bring you up and lift you up versus bring you down. Women are really good about making sure your community's there, but I would just make sure that you're staying in a community that's going to support you and lift you up and have your back. And I think that's where you start. Things are going to not always be perfect. That's just life. But if you have a community that supports you, or if you have people that will bring you up and, then you can do anything.
Now you have a business with Roland and Ryan that actually supports people to buy businesses or to build for equity. Both
Correct.
you offer both. So do you want to tell us about that?
We do. We have a company called Epic Network. You can go to epicnetwork.com. That's our company, and we teach this every single day. We love it. It is in our soul. We love it. We live it, and we do it ourselves. It's not just something that we teach. It is something that we do.
And inside that community is an opportunity to join and learn how to have support inside of buying
Mhm.
businesses if that's what you want and to get a lot of the, to find those partners too and do all that
Yes.
kind of work. And
Yeah,
that's been
we do.
how long has that company been around? Quite a while now.
No, about 6 years on
About
that
6
one.
years. Right,
Mhm.
right. Okay, great.
We launched it when COVID happened and events got shut down. So we started launching teaching it from Zooms because we couldn't go to live events. So and it birthed itself. So it was a beautiful thing.
I love that. So good. So good. This has been amazing. Deanna
Thank
Rogers, you are
you.
such a queen and so wonderful for coming on and imparting not only mindset wisdom, but also really some tactical tools for how women can buy businesses and grow quite a bit of cash flow and money. And let's face it, a lot of us are going for that financially free life, and having that cash flow come in, whether you're working or not, is the name of the game. So I can't thank you enough for being here and on the Women Growing Wealth podcast. And please, if you love this episode, like, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. And also make sure that you look up Epic Network if you are ready to buy business.
Thank you for having me. What an honor to be here today with you.
Thank you.